Hey everybody, this is Chris, and if you notice, the wall's a little empty behind me today. I have one of the quads here in my hand, but there's another one missing, so that tells you I was up to something that a lot of people have been asking about. But another hot topic recently, now that more people are getting this quad, is the optic flow. And that's what this video is about, and it's just gonna be a quick simple video. I did I think some pretty thorough testing, and definitely enough testing to show you that it does work in like 3 or 4 different situations. So the talk out there is it doesn't work, or it's like it's non-existent, almost like it's not programmed, and it does, and it is programmed. How it works is a different story. There's been a firmware update, and I'm not sure they did anything to do with the sensors with that update. It does not say so in the update, but it is reacting a little better on the newest update of 119 versus 118. And I don't know, it could be a placebo effect where I'm just thinking it's better. But before I took it out and flew, it needed an update, and of course we have to do that, so I couldn't test one version versus the other. So what we do is we are at a field next to a baseball field, and one thing I do is the typical, put your hand up underneath and see how it reacts. It does different things when you do that. It'll launch up or go forward. You're going to see that in the video. The other thing I really wanted to do was fly real low to the ground. So I would get about like this and see how it would react. In normal mode, it's got such an extreme pitch to it that it wants to go down. And the sensors at times were pushing it back up. And then at other times I was hitting the ground. So you'll see that too. No crashes or anything. It actually recovered every time it hit the ground. I think there'll be 2 of them in this video, but I hit the ground probably 4 times, and each time just let off the sticks, and it kicked up and recovered on its own. So the sensors did their job. It's just a late delay. That's all there is. It's a late delay. So the biggest thing I could say out of any of all of my testing is it just needs to be it needs to be tweaked a little to where they make it more sensitive, and therefore it will react quicker. If I take the FEMI, the Paradenofi, you'll see in one of my videos where I was at Buttermilk Falls, the waterfall's right here, and I wanted to come right up over it, and as soon as I got right like this, it started pushing back and it was fighting me. This doesn't necessarily act that way. Sometimes this will go up, and sometimes it'll fly in whatever direction away from the obstacle that it's trying to keep itself from. So you'll see sometimes when I'm putting my hand under it, or when I walked under it, it'll launch up, or it'll actually just kind of go like this and scoot away as it rises in altitude. So those are just things, to let you know in advance. That's what you're going to see. And I just want to say the sensors do work. So watch the video, see for yourself, and I'll just go ahead and say now, thank you everybody for watching. Thanks for all the support, and newcomers, hit that subscribe button and the bell, and that way you'll get notified for future content. And as always, on your way out after the video, hit that thumbs up, or just hit it now, whatever. But I think this is very good testing. I did different scenarios and situations to show it does work. Better on this new firmware update? I don't know. It could have just been a good day. We know the Zino acts a little differently on different days. The other thing you're going to see is I'm going to show you how it really acts in strong wind, because it was windy today. And it does not act like you see sometimes in another video maybe. I'll discuss that further in the video. I make comment to that, and I show you how stable the quad actually is based on a video that surfaced out there on YouTube that I think is horrible. A horrible representation of the Zino 2. I've been labeled the scaremonger. because I showed you all the negative stuff that's happened to Floyd and happened to my other one. But the thing is, I show you proof, and then I usually show you fixes. This other video that I'm going to reference in this video is this person now can take the reins and be the Hubsan Zino scaremonger. Because if anybody watched that video for the first time, or you're sitting there waiting for your Zino to come, it's definitely going to scare you into not wanting this quad. So hopefully what I show you today reassures you that this is stable, it's very controllable, and the sensors are working. So I'm happy to report something positive for a change. So enjoy the video, and thanks again for watching. Take care.
Okay, let's bring it down a little bit here. Now this is kind of hard to do with the wind. It is blowing straight at the camera, but we're just going to try to keep it low to the ground, and I'm going to go around and we'll just see how it does in low altitude positions. Without the sensors, the low altitude, like on the regular Zino or Zino Pro, it wants to go down to the ground, so that's not something you want to do. You don't want to fly real low with those quads, but this one you should be able to do it without it hitting the ground, and you'll see sometimes it'll get real close. For a normal speed, the quad has got a big pitch to it, and that's why you're seeing the props. Seems like it's got a little bit too much pitch. Almost hit the ground there. I had to actually, see that right there? Just hit the ground. So it drops. I'm gonna bring it back down. Try to keep it to where you guys can see it. Dropping. I'm pushing it up. I gotta keep pushing it up. So I'm up high now, but I want to see if it goes down. See how it's going down? That's doing that on its own, not me. And raised back up. Now let's turn and see if it drops down. Yep, nosedive. If I would have kept going straight, it would hit the ground. So it drops real heavy. Dropping, raising. So hopefully you guys can see this good, but that's a serious pitch. Now let's just go light on the stick, keeping it in normal mode. Bring it down a little more. See how it wants to land by itself almost? So I'm gonna go a little about half stick here. And it raised straight up. I'm gonna bring it back down. So going slow, it's not pitched. It can run that ground nice. Now I'm not saying going full stick is necessarily the right thing to do, but you definitely want to be careful. Even here it's dropping. Here it's raising up by itself, coming straight at the camera. Raising up by itself. So it doesn't hold a really good altitude at all. Dropping down by itself. Ooh, 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 oh, that's close. Holy cow, that was inches. Now, I'm not saving it. When it drops down like that, I'm not saving it. So it is pushing back up a little bit, but boy, it gets close for comfort. And I'm not full stick either. And these are tight turns, so it's going to want to go down. It's pushing back up. So I would say the sensors are pretty much doing their job. It's just a little bit of a late reaction. Oh boy, we skimmed the grass there. Hopefully you can see that. But that was close. But see, I don't like when it raises high like that. I got to bring it down myself now. So all in all, I think the sensors are working. They're just a very late delay and they're not accurate. So let's bring her in and we'll get underneath it and see how it does with our hand underneath it. It just did that on its own, little twitch. Okay, let's go see what it does. Now if you watch, when I do it, I'm not touching the stick. It is working. I just want to prove that the sensors do work. You know, people saying that they don't work or they're non-existent or they just don't function at all, you can clearly see they work. And I'm happy they work because I can finally do something positive with this quad instead of giving you guys bad stuff all the time. Okay, so let's try it again. Okay, I'm gonna get under it one more time. So it did pretty much what it's supposed to do. Now I'm going to turn it around. Now, I want to point out one thing. And I'm not being mean to pick on the person because I don't like them. But Marcus Crawford put out a video. I report some negative stuff on this quad. This video that he put out was the worst representation of this quad I've ever seen. So I want to show you some things just to show you if you watch that video and you're afraid of this thing, don't be afraid of it. It's not a bad quad at all. The biggest problem with this quad is the cable, the issue with the cable on the gimbal. There's been some bad ones. There's been a few firmware incidents. Even myself, I had one. Other than that, it's not a terrible quad. So don't freak out if you've got this thing on order or if you're over the fence and you don't know if you want to order it. It's a decent quad. There's typical bugs to work out. So I'm going to show you some things you saw in his video. I guarantee you right now, if you can hear the wind, I'm running probably stronger winds than he was. It's holding steady. So let's take it out. Let me yaw it a little bit here. I'm gonna bring it down a little so you can see it. I want to try to keep it close in the camera. Not that close. About right there. Now, I'm going to get out of the picture. Now we're just going to move forward a little bit. I'm in normal mode. It's not jerking. I can move it nice and slow if I want, or I can move it fast. Okay? Now I'm going to bring it down a little bit, and I'm going to bring it back slow. I'm still in normal mode. It's got a little twitch to it, but it's not jerky like you saw in that video. Let's go to the left here. See how easy it is to control it if you just know how to use the sticks? Very simple. Let's go to the right. And what you saw in that video was this. You saw a spastic Zino 2, and I just want to show you that is not the case with this thing. I'm in the wind right now, and it's fighting it. And you'll see it. See that twitch? It's adjusting to the wind. It's not jerking around like you saw. It's not, oh, 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 I can't control my quad, oh, oh, oh. And I'll show you why. This is how he works his sticks. That's not how you do it. That's called stick flicking. You're gonna get yourself hurt. So you either put your thumbs on the stick and control your quad, or you pinch. I've never been able to pinch. I can't do it. I use my thumbs. But I just wanted to show you, and you can hear this wind right now. It's windy. That thing is holding nice. So let's do a little yaw here. It's dancing around with the wind. The wind's shooting around it and over it, but it's holding its own. So see, Zino 2 is pretty steady. I've already showed you flying around close to the ground. The sensors do push it back up. Gets real close and pushes right back up. See that? I actually got scared on that when I lifted off. I backed off. But let's just fly around. Let's see what the sensors do. Keep it tight. The more turns I take, the more it wants to dive down. And it pushes back up. And we hit there. If you ever hit, just let off the sticks. The sensor should kick it right back up, which it did. Okay, bringing it around. I'm just trying to keep it all close and tight so you can see. Kind of want it to hit again. Now see, this is the only part where it's not so accurate. It raised up all like that by itself. See if it comes down. No, I'm gonna have to bring it down. Okay, I got it down and flying around, and ooh, I didn't do that. So she bobbles, moves around, needs a little tweaking. I think they need to, I don't know how they adjust it in the firmware, but they need to add some strength to it, strengthen that sensor up a little bit and make it react a little faster. So when you fly over something, it should lift up. So that's what we're going to do right now. So that's exactly what it did. It raised up. Do it one more time. Bring it down a little bit so I don't have to reach so far. Back up. So as it flies by, I'll put my hand under it and it should raise up on its own. And that's exactly what it did. So that's it, guys. Real simple. She works. It's not hard to fly. It's not as jerky as what you saw in that video. I'm not picking on the guy, but that was the worst representation of this quad. And if anybody saw that as a first look for this quad, they would say, hell no, I'm not buying it. So, since we're talking about Marcus, let's do a little backwards and up here. Turn this gimbal up. I just thought I'd do that because he loves doing backwards and ups. So Marcus, I know you watch my videos. That one was for you, buddy. And the only reason I know you watch my videos is because right after I show everybody how to do the gimbal cover, you do it in your video exactly the way I did it. And I don't think you figured that out on your own. Alright, so I think that's about all I can really show you on the sensor. I think it's accurate enough to where you've seen enough. The quad handles very nicely. And that's it. So I'm not going to fly around here. There's too many people out in the park today. So it's not a pretty day anyhow. So let's go ahead and just bring it in and catch it. One thing I forgot to show you is I don't have my landing pad. We're going to land it in the grass, not the dirt. But just to show you the sensors, how it lands in the grass. Okay, it looks like the grass is low enough right there. So let's land it. Hesitates.
Landing.
And it says landing. I think that's perfect. That's fine. So that shows you the sensors do work. They may be delayed a little bit today. They actually worked better than they have for any of the times. So I'm going to practice some precise landing in my hand and see how that goes.